This year has been bananas, been crazy. And look, I've not dedicated as much time to YouTube and socials than I'd like. So today, I'm going to give you an update to what the hell I've been up to this year. And actually, a few of the things that I'm going to be sharing today I've never spoken about them publicly. And then at the end, I want to share a big tip to all of you guys, and something that might be a bit of a home truth, but honestly something that you might need to hear. If you follow me on Instagram, or if you're one of my Seller Pro Academy students, you will know that this year I had a child. And supporting my partner through her pregnancy and of course becoming a dad has been my absolute number one priority. Just 11 days after my daughter was born, she became an investor, and I was so proud that I was in a position where I could give her this start in life that she obviously doesn't appreciate now, but when she's 18 will make a massive difference on her life. One of my sayings for the last few years has been build your legacy, and it's actually been the background of my phone for years as well, just a black background that says build your legacy. And I knew what it meant, but really once I found out that I was going to be a dad and I became a dad, it really hit home how important that was, and it goes into why I've been so busy this year. So let's run down everything that I've done. I had to write this down because it's so easy to forget. This year I have launched one new Amazon brand completely from scratch. I've launched 4 new products, one more coming before the end of the year. I launched 2 brand new Shopify websites for 2 different brands. Just a few days after launching a new product, I got it taken down by a fraudulent IP case, which was the most frustrating thing I've ever had to deal with. But after a few weeks and getting deep in emails, it was resolved and back to bestseller. In fact, this year I launched 2 products to bestseller and one that came in second, which I was really pissed off about. While we're on the subject of Amazon, launched a KDP, so a Kindle Direct Publishing store. Currently have 9 books up and running, and then hopefully by the end of the year, 1 book per week. Now that's automated, so at this point I'm kind of hands-free. At the start of the year, my business partner and his brother got me onto this incredible new Amazon thing, leveraging something called the influencer program. He started with his brother. They replaced his brother's full-time wage, quit his job, but actually said to me, hey, look, this might be something that will be good for Natalie, my partner's maternity pay, because she was part-time at the NHS and had her own business, so she didn't really get much maternity pay. We set up that way earlier in the year, and she's done no work since August and is still making commissions to this day. And honestly, a little bit jealous because she doesn't do any work for it. We had quite a few people in my community asking about this, so we did a 12-week program to help people get started. They all loved it, so we condensed that and we now formed a 8-week program, which we launched just a few weeks ago. I then started planning my Seller Pro Awards event, which is where I give out the 10K and 100K club awards to members that have hit those milestones. That's booked in for January next year, and we've had a ton of partners that wanted to sponsor the event and come along and just really make it a great time to network with fellow Amazon sellers. It's going to be the biggest event yet. I've got a ton of surprises that no one knows about. And because students were doing so well, we've got the 10K awards, we're giving tons of those out. We've got the 100K award, we're giving tons of those out. I had to make the £1 Million Club Awards. So I went to the factory, the manufacturer direct, I sat with them and I designed it with them, and holy moly, it is stunning. It is incredible. I can't wait to unveil that and a few other little surprises that I've got in my sleeve. On top of that, I held weekly masterminds with my inner circle students. We've had partners, we've had experts come on and share their expertise with the community. And even very recently, I've started an extremely exclusive mastermind for just 3 people at a time, and we'll be doing like lunches and stuff like that in Soho houses around the UK. And for the observant viewer, yes, I did have a hair transplant as well. And tons of other things that either aren't that interesting or I can't remember right now. Remember, I am operating on like this much sleep compared to where I was at before. Having a baby is hard. So I mentioned earlier about this build your legacy phrase that I've been throwing around. Like, there's 2 phrases that I've had over the years. You're just one product away and build your legacy. These 2 things really go hand in hand, because I think to build your legacy, you only are one product away, or you're one decision away from doing that. So whilst I've been preparing for this brand new incredible life that I'm now in, I've done so much work this year so that I can continue to build my legacy into the years to come. And a lot of people come to me and they say, I want to do X, Y, and Z, but I don't have the time. Hand on heart, I've done a ton of work this year, and even I know I still have time. And you know what? You can do better, And you will do better if you make that decision. And if you need to hear this, I'm talking to you directly. It is hard. It's really, really hard. It's going to suck at first, but once you get into a rhythm and you start seeing the results, you would do it 100 times over. If I knew now what I knew back when I first started up on YouTube, and prior to that with my business journey beforehand, if I knew what quitting my job would do for my life, then I wouldn't have been so scared about it. I would have started a year earlier than I actually did. One of the things that has been incredible to see is some of the friends that I've generated from YouTube or from business or from Amazon, seeing them go from nothing, right, exactly where I was at the beginning, to millionaires, to be so successful, some of them traveling the world and being, multiple millionaires. I've seen clients, students of the academy go from nothing to making millions. I've seen transformations that you wouldn't believe. And honestly, it's incredible to think back at where we all were, 8 years ago, and see how far people have come. But I've also seen people give up. I've had messages from people that started up, around the same time as me, and they let it slip. And they say to me that they wish they gave it more attention and they just pushed through. I've heard the excuses and I've heard the rationale behind it. And you know what? Sometimes it's been my own voice. I'm telling you right now that it is hard. It is hard to do something that other people don't do. It's hard to be told that this isn't going to work or you're not supported. It's hard to start a business. It's hard to run a business. It's hard to lose friends. It's hard to make sacrifices. It is hard, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. If you want what only a few have, you have to do what only a few do. You might glamorize entrepreneurship or having money or having time freedom, but it's not a straightforward, easy process. If you want those things, which are valuable, they're really, really valuable, and they're very rewarding, you need to work hard and you need to understand that it's not going to be a walk in the park. And when you feel like shit is really hitting the fan, do not give up. Be resilient, because the only time that you actually fail is when you stop. Some of you might watch this and think, oh, this is all like woo-woo nonsense. I promise you that it's not. And if you go into it understanding that it's going to be one of the hardest things you ever do, it's going to test you, you're going to make sacrifices, but it will be worth it, then you will be in a better position than most of the people out there, because you're not going to be deluded to how it really is. And it comes down to this. Anything worthwhile is not easy. It takes time, it takes resources, it takes attention, and it takes away from things that you might want to do. But once you start reaping the rewards, it all becomes worth it. And there's one last thing I want to leave on, because I got a message the other day on my Instagram. It was someone that was saying they were really, really, really struggling. And hopefully I was able to help them and put them on the right path. But if you are particularly struggling right now, or you need a little bit of boost, feel free to reach out to me and I will reply. So look, if you do want to follow my journey a little bit more closely, I would highly recommend that you give me a follow on Instagram. It's at Johnny Bradley UK, because do you know what? Doing YouTube videos is a bit of a pain in the arse. I'm not going to lie. I'm looking forward to making 2024 my bitch. So let's go. Happy New Year, everyone. Oh, and enjoy Christmas.